All right, let's do this. So the way I run through the review, since this is your first one you're receiving from me, notice I have all the placards up. There's a couple that are missing, like engineering notation. We don't need to talk about that, do we? Because you've been practicing that this whole time. So there's nothing testable per se pertaining to engineering notation. How are you being tested? Well, you got to know how to use your calculator in proper engineering notation, things like that. So that's not up there. There's another one that's missing. What else is missing? Yeah, the multi-sim. There's nothing testable with multi-sim either. Only required to show it to you, give you an introduction. So don't sweat that. I'm trying to help you out. So, oh crap, you didn't talk about multi-sim. Don't worry about it. It's not testable. Is there another item that's missing? Remember that intro to VEC? The very first one? Well, what did that entail? Anybody remember? Yeah, basically an overview of the course, chain of command, that kind of stuff. So none of that. You don't worry about it. None of that's testable. What is testable, what you're responsible for, are these lesson designators here. Safety all the way through responsibilities. So the first thing we're going to talk a little bit about is safety. So you can open up your handouts, and I want you to take a look at those enabling learning objectives. Because that's where the test questions come from, or are derived from, the enabling learning objectives. And we want to take a look at those to make sure that we're covering what we need to cover. Then as we go throughout the course, you'll get the gist and you'll understand what I mean. So this first one, we'll actually look at the learning objectives for each lesson and make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So the first learning objective, enabling type, which is Strickland for safety, what does it say?
Given references and various symbols. Given various symbols, identify the symbol for electrostatic discharge ESD sensitive devices in accordance with TI 4400 TAC 15/5.
Okay. Notice that started out, because that's a major typo right there. It says, given references. You're not going to give any damn references. Typo. You're expected to know this stuff. So just pointing that out now is tomorrow, if some of you are really analytical with me, it says given references. I'm telling you right now. It's typo. So what do you need to know about that? For the ELO, it talks about symbols, identify electrostatic sensitive device. There is some symbols, or are some symbols in the handout, page what? Page 6. Look at page 6. You need to be familiar with those symbols. Specifically, the one that's got the little hand, a line through it. What do you think that means?
Don't touch it.
Don't touch that trash. What are we not touching?
ESD sensitive.
Yeah, like what? What's an electrostatic sensitive device?
Any kind of circuit card.
Yeah, circuit card, memory, CPU. Anyone build your own computers? Yeah, you don't want to be finger jamming those pins on that processor, do you? You know, particular class. Well, hopefully you remember some stuff from it, like static. What does static mean? What can I do? Yeah, but I can store a charge on my body as well as the rest of you. Just by moving around, you can store an electrostatic charge. And then what I used to do to my mom when I was a kid, throw my feet on the carpet, right? And then her butt sticking out. She get mad, chase around the table, and look the ball back. Discharge. And especially at night, you can see that, can't you? You can see that arc, if you will. But it doesn't kill you. Why? Yeah, there's not enough current. It's high voltage, but you can have high amounts of voltage, like the static type. Now, you're talking about lightning strike? Yeah, you're going to be done. So the point behind the safety as far as that ELO goes, page 6, all those symbols where you can see those as stickers on the outside of a box or the circuit cards inside of, or that electrostatic bag, you'll see those various symbols and stickers. But pay particular attention to the hand, the line through it. It means don't touch, unless what?
Properly grounded.
Okay, properly grounded. Now, if you don't happen to have a static band, like that's what these things are, right? You put these on me through labs. Does it protect you? No. It's supposed to protect the equipment, not you. That's what these are for. But if you don't happen to have one handy, what could you do as kind of a last resort or just to be sure? Kind of ground yourself out, right, by touching metal. That happens to me all the time at home. If I don't ground myself out because I have carpet throughout the whole house, and I want to take my thumb drive and put it in the USB port or anything in the USB port, if I don't do this, it's going to short out and the computer will turn on. So, an example like real life. So I always have to ground myself up. Maybe if I could ground a computer, I could do that too. Is there another ELO in there? See what other one's talking about.
Given references, select a statement that identifies electrostatic discharge system device protection procedures in accordance with TI 400 Act 15/1A.
Okay. Is there procedures listed somewhere in that handout?
Page 7, see through lists,
Okay, yeah, starting on page 7, the top of page 8, just be familiar with that. The rest of the stuff in that lesson, don't sweat. And what I mean by that is there's this big, long chart on page 9, ESD precautions, and it's always this, always that, always do this, don't do that. You don't have to memorize that thing. Just go in line with what the ELOs state. There's only 2. Know the symbols and be familiar with precautions. Page 7, 8 to 6. Any questions about safety? It's more specifically pertaining to electrostatic system devices, really, as far as that goes. Questions?